Damian Bartoni here on behalf of Fox West Texas and the official host of MMA Monday, the only MMA show in San Angelo. Look, the best part about MMA is you got to mix the martial arts. And something that's interesting about
Yeah.
this episode in particular is I have never spoken to a professional boxer. This is the first professional boxer interview I've ever done, and there's nobody better than my good friend, so cold Steven Nelson. Steve, my brother,
So
how are
cold.
you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I had a great morning workout, and surprisingly, it was at the UFC gym in Vegas.
Oh, you went to just the regular UFC gym? Is that where
Yep,
you? Yeah,
yep.
that's so sick,
The
man.
big compound where you gotta have like credentials, get in and stuff. They have like security. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's so that's so dope, man. That's so cool that you get to use those resources and they're next level, man. I from what I've seen on the embeddeds and stuff like that, they're crazy. They're crazy. But
Oh
man,
yeah, we was doing all type of stuff. I was like, man, I was in there. We was in there doing all kind of stuff, man. Doing hand-eye coordination on the screen and
oh, that's
touch
different.
shots and flipping switches. And it was all kind of stuff, man. It was a good workout though.
Man, that's so crazy. That honestly was not something I was expecting. That's dope. Uh,
Yeah,
I wanted to talk a little bit, starting this off with, I looked into your career, and I believe one of your first fights, if not your first fight, was in Houston, Texas, professionally, at least.
yep.
Um,
It was my first
Tell me,
fight.
I know you were born in Omaha, Nebraska, but tell me, what does the state of Texas mean to you? Do you feel a little bit of like that sentimental value to the state, knowing that, that's kind of where it all kind of started, right?
Yeah, I mean, in the amateurs, I traveled around, so it was just like the biggest thing I remember about going my first fight is like, man, like I'm on the big stage now. But even in the amateurs, I fought without headgear.
Oh,
I fought all over the world, so it was just like it was like a smooth transition. It was a smooth transition for me, but Texas is always a great place for me. You know, I got family that lived there. My older brother lived there. My older sister lived there, and I've always wanted to, live in Texas. So
yeah.
it's still a possibility. I may be moving to Texas in the next
Yeah.
couple of years. So.
Well, you're fighting. Speaking of Texas, you're fighting on a card where Dallas, Texas' own Errol Spence is fighting on there.
Yeah,
Huge card. This is probably the biggest boxing fight of the year, at least that I'm thinking about right now. In terms of the
yeah,
card, the value itself, and you're going to be a part of that. That story in history will not be able to be told without your fight going down. So tell me,
exactly.
how does that make you feel?
It's special, but it also defines like speaking things into existence and working towards your goals. Because we've always talked about this. Me and Terrence, we've been in the car and we've talked. We've been training. We've always imagined this type of fights and stuff. So it's cool to be a part of it. I would have loved to be part of the pay-per-view, but being a free agent and stuff like that, it was hard to you know get me on the main card. But I'm on the card. I'm
Yeah.
working them players, and it's a blessing.
Well, and not even that. I mean, the fact that you're not on the main card. Trust. I mean, coming from the world of MMA, UFC myself, man, the prelims, the early prelim fighters, they're not on the main card, but trust me, they steal the show, and they're talked about throughout the entire. Whenever you review the card, they're spoken about, and you yourself as a champion, you will be spoken about. You put on a performance, it's gonna be hard not to talk about what you've
Oh
done.
yeah, because my performance goes so much deeper than just going in the ring.
Mhm.
Like people who follow me, I make my own ring uniforms, and I
Mhm.
always come out with clever, characters. You know, so I got a dope character I'm coming out as this fight, and people got to tune in. It's gonna be very entertaining.
Well, you said you create your own stuff, which is perfect segue to what I saw on Instagram, man. I see that you're a barber, you cook, you're a mechanic, a pilot. You do all this
Yeah.
stuff. What made you decide to become so well-rounded, so well-versed, not just in fighting, but in life?
Just as a kid, I've always had people around me, family members, friends that did different things, and instead of being jealous and hating on them. I've always been like, that's dope. I want to do that too. If he can do it, I can do it. So I've always been, a person that like if another person can do it, so can you. So things that I've always wanted to do, or people, because I'm a perfectionist. So people don't do it to the level of what I wanted. I do it myself. That's how I started making my own uniforms.
Yeah.
My first fight, I paid somebody to make a uniform, and they played me. It didn't hit right, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing it myself. And I went and learned how to, make trunks and jackets and stuff. I went and got old uniforms, and I took them apart. I used them as patterns, and now today I make some of the dopest uniforms. I make my own. I designed Bud's uniforms, Terrence. I designed his uniform, so it's a blessing to be able to do so many different things, and I can count on myself. I can always know it's gonna get done because I'm counting on myself. I'm not counting on nobody else.
Yeah, and I think that's what also really interests me, that whenever I was kind of looking up, all your stuff, how you kind of are the epitome of just like, not saying self-made, like you had no help, but you truly do count on yourself to do so much in this life. You're very independent, and for me, that's very motivating. I'm someone who, I practice jiu-jitsu myself. I have a competition in August, right? And one thing that I see is like, especially in martial arts and any form of combat, you have to be okay with being vulnerable and the acceptance that and all outcomes are possible, right? But the difference is understanding that and believing that, meaning that, like for me in my competition, I'm going in there thinking I am the champion. I'm just defending my belt. Yeah,
exactly. And I tell a lot of people, they like, even outside of sports, if you want to do something, a lot of times people see something, they be like, that's cool, I wish I can do that, before they even try it.
Yep.
Or they try it one time and it's like, no, I can't do it. Like, no, if you really want to do something and another person can do it, even things people can't do yet, you can do it.
Yeah.
It sound cliche. People are like, oh, yeah, you can do whatever you want. And, you really can. If you put your mind to them, like, you know what, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to do it. I'm not saying you're going to be the GOAT at everything you do, but you will be able to do whatever you want to do.
Absolutely. And that's all we want in this life, is just the possibility. Like, you just want, if you're trying, you can live with the result. That's what I've realized in life is, regardless of the result, as long as you try, as long as you put effort, man, I'll live with it. I will, because I know I didn't short myself,
Right. I'd rather say I tried something and failed than I didn't try it. What if I would have?
Yeah.
Where would I be at if I did?
Yeah.
You always leave that possibility. But if you try it and it just didn't work out for you, you know that it's time to move on and you're gonna try something else.
Yeah. Well, it's beautiful, man. I think boxing and combat sports really does force you to have that mentality, man, because you can hypothetically have one foot in, one foot out, but you will never get the result that you want. And especially in combat sports, you can't do that.
I tell you all the time, like, that's one sport where you can't perfect. You'll always be learning and always growing.
Yeah.
So that's why I love it. It's an art to me because I'm an artist. I paint and stuff like that. I'm a carpenter. But boxing is one thing that you just can't perfect. I can do anything else in this world, I'll be like, oh, now that right there, I can't do no better than that right there. Yeah. That's perfect. But boxing, there's always something you can fix. Combat sports, there's always something you can fix. There's something you can always get better on. There's something you can always add to your toolbox. There's always something. It's so much. So it makes it interesting to me because it takes every part of me, everything I do, physicality, my mind, my creativity, finessing everything, and you combine it all together to make one big result. You gotta be able to adjust and problem solve and everything that defines me is in boxing for me.
Yeah, man, I love it. I love that. That's why I tell people too about just martial arts, combat sports. Once you really engulf yourself, and like for me, since I was kickboxing a lot prior to, and now I'm on TV, so I can't kickbox anymore. I'd be in breach of my contract, but I can do jiu-jitsu and I'm fine with it. I can get away with it.
Yeah.
But I was just saying the same thing. How just basically once you kind of engulf yourself in that world, it becomes your lifestyle. The self improvement aspect is just all about it's just what your life is about, you know.
It teaches you so much. I tell kids, I pass it down to the kids all the time. It teaches you so much about life in general.
Yeah,
prepares you for life. Even if you don't plan on competing professionally, it'll teach you so much about life, and it'll give you that extra push to get through things in life.
absolutely.
You know, because in life you're always problem solving. You're always getting hit, and you don't see it coming, and you got to adjust to it. So many things, discipline, being able to like control your decisions and your emotions, and dieting, everything in life, like it's centered around martial arts.
Yep.
Boxing, mixed martial, everything. Man, there's so much about it,
Yeah, and I have a couple more for you as we start to wrap this up a little bit. You've mentioned, you and Bud have had discussions. I know that relationship is very tight knit. I saw a picture of y'all training together not too long ago. I believe the caption was you put on there "iron sharpens iron" or something like that. Tell me, man, when you visualize this event, and you kind of think about in retrospect, like your journey, his journey, is it a bit poetic to you to see how far you both have come? And now, he's in the main event and you're here. You know what I mean?
It's crazy. It's like a movie. Like when you play it back from the opening credits and then the end part, and you see how it transpired and everything, you're like, dang, that's crazy. We real life living a movie. It's not an hour and a half though. These is years and years of work. And we go back and I look at old pictures of us and I look at how we changed physically. And then I also just think back to the time we took that picture and where we were at. There was a time where me and Bud can like drive to the mall, go to the mall, and we walk around the mall, and like only people that knew us, people that personally knew us. Now we go places, it's like, damn, hey, Terrence, Bud, Steve, what's up? I got a picture. Like, we go from there to have security, and we go certain places in Vegas and traveling the world. When we went to Thailand, we was in Thailand and people knew who we were. We were like, what? Like, we're in Thailand, like, and people knew who we were. It was like, it's crazy coming from where we came from, because we never, like the place we come from in Omaha, Nebraska, like people don't hear about it a lot, but we come from the slums. We come from, having to dig ourselves out of the hole, and now we're trying to build empire on top of it.
Yeah, it's now it's about legacy, right? And everything you're doing now is not for yourself per se. It's for everyone that's coming after you.
Exactly.
And that's the beauty. That's the beauty in your journey and seeing it from my perspective. And it's something that motivates and inspires me in my life, just to see stories like that, and I can relate to it on some levels as well. Mine is maybe one day if you and I can sit over a couple of root beers or something like that, we could talk about it. But yeah, it's an interesting dynamic. My final one for you, my friend. I know a lot of times myself, I know I visualize a lot, but for athletes of your caliber, I know you guys visualize a lot before the fight, right? About how your next upcoming bout's going to go. When you envision this bout, I'm not going to ask for your game plan, but when you envision this bout, how do you see it playing out?
For my fight, I feel like I'm going to put on a clinic and have people like, man, who is this dude? Why haven't we been watching this dude? Where he at? Like, I'm going to get so many more fans and more people who's going to be like, he's ready for that, for those title fights. That's the type of performance I want to put on. A seamless performance, like not getting hit and pop and pop in, and this put on a great show that had people like, you gotta look out for this dude. This dude is nice.
Yeah, like you want to get in that flow state during the bout. Basically, you want to be like in MMA. That's what they call it, the flow state, where it doesn't matter what's going on. They're throwing punches, they're trying to shoot for takedowns, but nothing's working. It's all you. We're going on your pace, your timing.
Yeah,
So,
I want to have fun. Beat me. People is like, man, he won that fight.
yeah, man.
I want to see him fight. Yeah, and I want to be in the talks of those big fights. Like, who will win this fight? I want to see this fight.
Yeah, and with the performance like, you know, the one that you're envisioning, man, the possibilities are. And if you talk about possibilities a lot this episode, hey, it's all you need to do is try, my friend. And I'm sure. Go ahead.
We have a plan. I said it's coming, and we have a plan. We're gonna stick to it, and it's gonna work out.
Yeah,
it's gonna work out.
Well,
like people gonna see a lot more so cold, and these next couple of years gonna be great for us.
Man, I'm excited. I wish it was already July 29th. That day in combat sports is going to be crazy. There's a crazy UFC event. There's the biggest fight in boxing in years, probably the biggest fight since probably Canelo Triple G 1 and 2. Huge fight. I mean, I think this is probably bigger than Wilder Fury, even though I love Tyson Fury. I think Spence Crawford, this card is insane. And man, all I know is I wish you the best of luck, my friend. I'm very, very excited to see your performance. And if there's anything that you'd like to let the viewers know, feel free, man. The floor is yours.
Man, I just feel like if people want to be entertained, inspired in so many ways outside of just boxing, you know, from all the things I do, they just have to follow me and stay in tune, man. On Instagram, Steven Nelson Boxing, same on TikTok. Twitter is So Cold Nelson, and Facebook is Steven So Cold Nelson, man. And you follow me on any of those platforms, you know, you can keep up with me, and you will definitely be entertained and inspired from being a stand-up comedian, being a pilot, the carpenter, boxer, painter, everything, man. I do it all, man. College graduate, so I'm well spoken. I know a lot of things, so it's like you can't go wrong, you know, by being behind a person like me and following me. You know, I'm the executive director of B&B Sports Academy, and I work with kids on a regular, and I try to promote greatness in life in general.
Yeah, man. I can't say it any better, man. You did exactly. You covered everything. Pilot, carpenter, mechanic, barber, boxer. You just do even a little chef. I saw you eating crab legs a couple years.
Oh yeah, I be cooking up, man. I'm just like, I'm good with my hands, man. I'm like I said, a painter and everything. Like, I do it all, man. And I'm always learning something new. That's the biggest. I'm a big advocate of, you know, always learning.
Absolutely.
To the day my feet are not on this earth, I'm going to be learning something, and you can learn from anybody.
Absolutely. Well, man, this was perfect. This was great. I could not have asked for a better first boxing interview. You were fantastic, my friend. I greatly appreciate your time. With Fox West Texas, I'm Damian Bartonek. That's So Cold himself, because So Cold said so. My brother, You guys take it easy.